fans, welcome back. Talkin Mets and Rob. How's everybody doing? Before I get started talking about the issues that we're having with Javier Baez and Francisco Lindor, don't forget, guys, if you enjoyed this video, hit on that like button. If you enjoy all my content, want to see more, want to get notified when I post my videos and when I go live, hit on that subscribe button, everybody. Alright, guys, so the Baez and Francisco Lindor whole thumbs down issue that they've been doing since the start of it around LA time, when they were in LA facing the Dodgers. And it comes to the fact, once again, that toxic situation that I even spoke about in the clubhouse. Not only do the New York Mets organization and Sandy Alderson get Javier Baez where it was a position that we did not need, it was Francisco Lindor's advice and persuasion of his words that brought Javier Baez in to the New York Mets. Not only did nobody talk about that, it was taking Jeff McNeil's job. And nobody can say that Jeff McNeil was having a good season. But when you have a position where there is a player who is actually solidified in that position, and nor the organization, Francisco Lindor, or even Javier Baez for that matter, do not give a damn that they have a guy in Jeff McNeil that's playing in that position, knowing that bringing in Javier Baez would take the job away from Jeff McNeil. That is a huge problem. We talked about it over and over again about the camaraderie of this team. They seem like they like each other. They get along with each other. Even right before the trade deadline, people talked about, let's not break up mess up the chemistry of this team. But yet, they bring in Javier Baez, who is a known guy to be a pain in the ass, no matter if it's in the clubhouse, against other teams. He's just a guy that brings off a vibe to certain people that is not very good. Now, I'm not talking about the energy he brings to the field. That's one thing. But we also have to look into the fact, what is the energy, what type of personality does he bring to that clubhouse? And I think it's 100% toxic. There's not a lot of guys on that team that probably like him. And that's obviously Francisco Lindor. They're buddies. They're best friends from the World Baseball Classic, from being from Puerto Rico. But when you have a guy like Stroman, who's another one who I can guarantee you that a lot of players on that team don't like Marcus Stroman because of his attitude, because he is a me type of guy. Marcus Stroman was very quick to go out and protect Javier Baez, saying that it's the media, it's the fake news. That's a problem. Because when Alonso was having issues with the media and other players were having problems, did I ever hear Marcus Stroman or Francisco Lindor back up Jeff McNeil when he was having problems? No, I didn't hear that. But as soon as Baez brings this whole thumbs down thing when they get a hit, when they hit a home run or anything like that, here we go, Lindor and Marcus Stroman right on the bandwagon, and this causes a fracture within the clubhouse. 100% there's something going on in that clubhouse that we don't know about. It seems like there's a little clique with Taijuan Walker, Marcus Stroman, Lindor, and Baez. And then there's the other side with the Alonsos, the McNeils, the Davis, guys like that. And I'm not saying that everything that has to do with their performance on the field has to do with the clubhouse and is it fractured? Is there problems in the clubhouse? But I can guarantee you one thing. It's definitely somewhat of a problem. It has to be. It doesn't make sense. This team on paper should be better than what they are. In the first half, when everybody was talking about team chemistry and the bench mob, they still weren't hitting very well. They were a little bit more clutch, but average-wise, runs scored-wise, they were still at the bottom of the league. That's a huge problem. And then you see now, when it comes to getting Javier Baez, it just seems that, as we always call it, the inmates are running the asylum. That's what it seems like here. The $341 million man has the ear of the owner and Steve Cohen that no matter probably, I still blame Sandy Alderson for the lack of aggressiveness and put himself into a corner where the only decision he had left, the only option he had left was obtaining Javier Baez after the pressure was put on by the owner and by fans to get a big deal done. And the only guy that was left was Javier Baez, who, number one, did not fit with this team, who the position that he plays was taken. Yes, Lindor was injured, but was taken by Lindor, was taken by Jeff McNeil. And number four, Javier Baez is a player that can turn a lot of people the wrong way. Some fans and definitely some players in that clubhouse. That is a huge problem to have. And this whole mantra of, oh, he's an energy guy, he don't take down from other players, other teams, fine. But there comes a point in time when that's all they talked about. If you went back from Jared Porter, you went back from Zach Scott, Sandy Alderson, Steve Cohen for that matter. They all talked about the chemistry this team had that they did not want to mess up. You cannot bring in a guy that can take somebody else's job while he's still on the team. Now, if you wanted to trade a guy who is in that position, such as Jeff McNeil at second base, for a guy who's going to take his spot, fine. There's no issue there. But you made a trade knowing that Javier Baez was going to move to second base. And he openly talked about that. And Lindor openly talked about even before the trade. Like Jeff McNeil did not even exist. That's a problem. Jeff McNeil has not been good this year. It's obvious. Nobody can dispute that. You can't even give me a great argument for that. But when you still have this guy on the team and you bring in Javier Baez, who is a friend of Francisco Lindor, when you already know with the whole raccoon rat thing earlier in the season with Lindor and McNeil that it was obviously not a raccoon and a rat. It was an issue that they were having. If they couldn't get on the same page up the middle, I don't know what it was, but it seemed like their relationship started off bad from spring training. It never seemed like they weren't on the same page. And that's another issue. And then when Lindor don't even bring up the fact that McNeil's position is second base, that's his position. He was like, oh, well, I would love to play up the middle with Javier Baez because we had so much fun at the World Baseball Classic playing for Puerto Rico. That's a clear sign that there is a fracture within the clubhouse. The $341 million man in Francisco Lindor has the ear of the owner. That's a problem as well. Now, if you want to give a little bit of advice, maybe a little bit info, if you don't know about the player, you want to talk to guys that might have played with him or know him, and say, yeah, I think he'd be a good part of this team. Let's be honest. The New York Mets are 9-20 since they acquired Javier Baez. Is that a type of player you bring into the clubhouse and bring into this team that is supposed to make a difference? No. Clearly he didn't. Yes, he was injured, but that's another part too. We all know about his heel issue, and he had a little bit of a hip issue as well. So that is the main issue that we're having with Javier Baez. At least what I'm having. Give me your thoughts in the comments, but you have to figure out why it is so toxic in this clubhouse when that's all they talked about earlier in the year, about the chemistry, about the bench mob coming in. It's the same issue with this team. The lack of transparency, the lack of understanding what this team needs. And that goes all the way back to Sandy Alderson. Yes, Javier Baez started the thumbs down. Yes, Lindor is following Javier Baez. Remember, if you're the superstar of this team in Javier Baez, you are the superstar of this team. The $341 million man. You're supposed to be the leader. There's supposed to be players following you, your footsteps, the way you are, the way you present yourself. Yet, as soon as Javier Baez comes, he's here 3 weeks. And Lindor's following him like he's a child following a parent. That's what Lindor is doing. That's not a leader. That's a follower. Lindor, if you are going to be the $341 million man, if you want to be the guy, you have to be the leader. You can't be the follower. People have to follow you. That's the problem. And it shows that right now Lindor is probably not the guy in New York. And that's a huge problem because he has 10 more years left on his contract, guys. Guys, this is a huge problem. Please tell me what you think in the comments, guys. Let me know what you think. Do you think that there is a major problem in this clubhouse and it starts with Javier Baez and Francisco Lindor? Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please hit on this like button. If you enjoy all my content, want to see more, want to get notified when I post my videos and when I go live, hit on that subscribe button, everybody. I really appreciate it. Guys, Met fans, do you think there's a fracture within this clubhouse and it starts with these two guys right here? Met fans, it's been a pleasure. Met fans, and as always, let's go Mets.